Camp. I am Martina Bex. I am here this evening with.
I'm Alicia Cardenas, and I am the Director of Training for the Comprehensible Classroom. And I am so excited to talk to you about this new course that we have created specifically for people who use Somos. It has been in the works for almost 12 months, and I'm really excited that we're doing it.
Yes, this was a big wish list project for us, but we always have so many things going on. For those of you joining us, you may already be familiar with our Acquisition Boot Camp. It's a course that we've been running for 3 or 4 years now, Alicia. 3 years. We have over 1,000, maybe 2,000 graduates, I don't even know, that have gone through that course that is just designed to help teachers get a foundational understanding of what it means to teach for acquisition. But we always said in the course that we will not address Somos specific questions because it was a curriculum agnostic course. It was meant for anybody. So we are so excited to now have this course where you can bring all your questions about the curriculum. So without further ado, Alicia, do you want to walk through what is this course? When does what is it?
All right. So the idea is that it is a hybrid synchronous and asynchronous course. So for 5 weeks, you're going to get short videos during the weekdays. And every week kind of has its own set of topics. So you'll have an access to the first video on Monday, the second video on Tuesday, and so on and so forth. In addition to those videos, you will have these fantastic workbooks and reflection opportunities with in a private closed forum with experienced Somos teachers who will be acting as coaches and leaders. So that's what you can expect is short, digestible videos. The longest video ran kind of long. It's 16 minutes, guys.
Ooh.
But they average about 10 minutes. And then an opportunity to reflect on what you've learned through some kind of interactive activity and reflection questions that our coaches are there to help you kind of think through. If you have questions, if you don't quite understand something, or if you've got it right, we're there to tell you, man, you totally nailed this idea.
Okay.
It's really cool.
So, usually when I hear online course, I think about, the courses that I took in college. So this big weighty thing that I've got to do, a big time commitment. And how you're describing it with expectations is it's a very small time commitment that you can stretch as you need to. So 10 to maximum 16-minute videos. What if I can't? So you said they drop every day. What if teachers can't watch them? Like the video drops Monday and I can't watch it Monday. Is that going to affect my experience in the course?
You can go back and watch. So maybe on Tuesday you watch 2, or maybe like a lot of people, because this is real life, you watch all of them on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. What we do find is that people have a better experience if they try not to get more than 2 or 3 behind, just because it's much like the Somos curriculum, it's cumulative and it spirals. So we definitely don't recommend that you skip around, even if you can, because that will make a big difference.
Yeah. And I mean, as with anything, for me, if I'm a day or 2 behind, that's okay. But as soon as I get this big pile of things, even though I know I can chip away at it slowly, it builds up in my mind as this bigger undertaking. So just trying to keep the overwhelm down as much as possible, even though they're short videos, a lot of short videos. It's a lot of deep thinking. So 10-minute videos. So tell me, 10-minute videos, 10 to 16-minute videos. There are workbooks with reflections. And, if you're familiar with the curriculum, how we create activities. We create activities that are meaningful, that are designed for a purpose to help you kind of revisit the ideas shared in the video and really think through them, process them. So really useful workbook. You don't have to use it. So if all you've got time for are the videos, no one is standing over your shoulder, shaking their finger. You can engage as much as you want. You can talk through ideas with coaches in the forums? And then what about live events, Alicia?
So every week we have a special live event planned, and I'm really excited about this because I'm able to plan some things that I've long wanted to plan but haven't been able to. So we're going to have a demonstration from an expert teacher in a less commonly taught language. So you as a participant can experience what it's like to learn a language that might be very unfamiliar to you using the core concepts from the Somos curriculum. It won't be a lesson from the Somos curriculum just because we don't have Mandarin or Russian. So uh, then
Yes.
we're also going to do an upper level demonstration in Spanish for so people can see what the curriculum looks, sounds, and feels like, even though it's going to be, you know, on a computer through a Zoom, you can still get a sense of what are those upper level classes like? What does a Spanish 3 or a Spanish 4 class do with Somos? We're going to have a whole game of engaged reading, which I love talking about reading. So that's going to be really fun, very interactive. We're going to guide you through looking at interpretive assessments and using the Somos rubric, or looking at presentational assessments and using the rubrics. And there's one other, oh, and we're going to help walk you through planning your year with Somos.
Oh, perfect. Which is why we're running it at the beginning of the year, so we can do all of the planning. So, so Alicia, you covered a lot of the big things, well, for the live events so far, but you know, what kind of differentiates Somos Acquisition Boot Camp from our standard acquisition boot camp are some of these topics here. Could you tell us a little bit about these topics and what teachers can expect from them in the course?
Absolutely. So one of the things that when I was a new teacher using Somos, I ran into some big roadblocks. And as I transitioned into my role in the Facebook group and supporting other teachers, and now my role as director of training, we're still running into kind of these same pinch points. And so I've created videos that very specifically address the most common pinch points or roadblocks that teachers occur. And so starting with what the heck is core vocabulary, and what am I supposed to do with it, and how does it relate to assessment? Music and Somos, engagement and cooperation, which is how we frame classroom management, because we aren't trying to manage bodies, we're trying to build cooperation and engagement. So planning, making Somos work for you. Like, well, what if you have to add this? What if you want to add this? How do you kind of think through those things? And then we also include core strategies and key skills.
Awesome.
And there's lots of video too.
Okay, so for those core strategies, when we go over them, it'll be a little bit of instruction, but then also some videos so that you can watch those strategies actually being used in a class taught with Somos. So yeah, so you talked about these as kind of the pinch points, Alicia. Then what are those, what are kind of the big problems? I mean, other than these, like the struggles, teaching for acquisition, it has a completely different goal than teaching for language learning, which is what most of us experienced in language classes. And then, you know, Somos as a curriculum looks totally different than any other curriculum that schools might adopt. So there is a totally a learning curve. And while everything is written out in the curriculum and you can just follow the plans, it's not always that easy. So what are some of those, like, it's not always so easy things that that this course is going to help people with? And it could be some of these things on the list.
Story asking. That's kind of a big one. Reading is a big one.
Oh my gosh, I see that in the Facebook group. I think, well, yeah, probably just as much as story asking, but the reading, because it is so heavy. So if you have ever had the thought like, oh my word, there's so much reading in Somos, and specifically those shared readings, and how do I keep my students engaged, and how do I make this not feel so laborious?
Laborious.
laborious.
And how do I keep them engaged?
Yeah.
But then there's also the wait. So now how do I assess them and how do I assign grades? And that is a huge challenge. So we have a whole week. In fact, I have a little secret. I couldn't fit all the information into 5 videos, so there's a bonus video. It's 6 videos because it's such a big deal. So we really park a lot on assessment. And of course, like, we can't come and sit next to you in your school and like talk with your department head or what admin and talk through all the assessment stuff, but we can prepare you to do that.
Yes.
So looking at assessments in Somos and then figuring, like, making some suggestions for how to grade them. What is the role of music anyway? If we're talking about comprehensible input, do we have to comprehensify everything? What does that even mean? Those kind of things.
Yeah, that is a big question that we get as well, because there's songs at the beginning of the year that, while we're saying, oh yeah, you've got to make everything comprehensible in your classes, then we throw these songs in the curriculum where you're like, there's no way my kids could understand these lyrics. So we kind of talk through, what is the goal? What purpose is music serving in the curriculum? And how do I make it understandable, or in what way?
And fun fact, that's the first email I ever sent to you, and the first email you ever responded to me about was
really?
about how do I use music? Because I was really confused.
Oh, that's so funny. I guess I didn't remember that.
It was a long time ago. The other thing that I think comes up a lot for teachers is this, how many units do I teach in a year? What if I want to include, like, the Somos curriculum doesn't include many common holidays that are taught, such as Ramadan, Hanukkah, Dia de los Muertos. Like, it doesn't include all of those. Those are resources available, but it's not in the curriculum for a whole bunch of reasons. So if you want to include those, what do you include? Where do you include them? We talk you through some thought processes, some planning, some thinking through how to make those decisions in a way that feels good for you and feels good for your community. And I think that's a really important piece too.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, Alicia, because our goal always, and our goal in almost like over instructing with the, the reason that the curriculum, all the lesson plans are written out so long, is we want to empower every teacher to make instructional decisions for their own classes based on the principles of second language acquisition, and based on the principles of adolescent learning, and also taking into account all of your own context. And one of the reasons that Alicia is such a celebrated trainer and in such high demand everywhere is because she has such a gift for identifying the information that teachers need to be able to make their own decisions. So, and I know you've put that gift to work in this course. So if that sounds like you, that you're like, okay, I get how to follow it, but I want to feel confident enough to kind of take ownership of the curriculum, this course is a great step for you in that direction.
I do want to say that this course will not replace reading the lesson plans. You're still going to have to read the lesson plans, friends. That's just how lesson plans work. But you'll feel a lot more confident when you see something. You'll be like, oh yeah, I know what that means.
Yes. Yeah. Having that like context to the trigger in your mind. So that's content. Oh, I guess this is content too. So this, did we already talk about this mostly?
So these are just some other pieces that are in there. We talk about ordered development. We talk about some skills for delivering acquisition-driven instruction. We give you grading schemes, proficiency scales, rubrics. We talk about can-dos. Like, we get real specific. We talk about how languages are acquired. And then again, we give you the opportunity to like look at all of these things in different ways, whether it's through reflection, whether it's through like a workbook where you actually work through, like, how would I personalize this text? So those are just more things that we have. And then, of course, we have our community forums. And so I was just talking with one of our coaches today, and she shared with me that her favorite thing is to coach in our forums because the learning is very concrete and very immediate, which is kind of perfect, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've loved watching. I mean, we just have the best coaches. There's so many teachers out there that have been practicing the art of instructional coaching and helping teachers figure out how to implement teaching for acquisition, and watching them answer questions and then having that back and forth interaction with participants. We just watch folks learn so much, and again, find that confidence to be able to take ownership of their practice again, which is something that to some extent I feel like you lose when you try something new. Like you're just trying to, it's like when you try a new recipe and you're like, okay, I've just got to follow the recipe. And then how it turns out is like kind of out of your control. Like I just followed the recipe, but then, being able to own it and being proud of what you're doing in class and creating, I think is a goal that we have for all teachers.
Mm-hmm. So I see a question, how often do we offer it? Well, we have never offered it before. This is the first time. So I don't know the answer to that. Chances are good that we will offer this twice a year, but I don't know, honestly. It really depends on how it goes. So we'll see. This is our first time doing it. So
Yeah.
even if you are going to use Somos next year, take it now because it will set you up for success.
Yes. And then you might even find yourself taking it again next year. We've had a lot of folks that have taken our acquisition boot camp several times. Even though you'll have access to the course for 6 months afterward, you'll have access to all of the content to be able to participate live with the coaches and in the events, and everything is super valuable. Alicia, I want to cover dates, but I know one big question, and I saw this asked in a few different groups today. So the beginning of the year, teachers are having to fill professional development hours, their course credits, all of those things. So could you talk about what credit and, official documentation we're able to offer?
Yeah, so we will make sure that you have access to a course certificate that lists your hours. And we actually give you multiple ways. If you do every single thing possible in the course, you can get credit for that many hours. If you only watch the videos, you can get credit for that many hours and everything in between. So that's one thing, everybody gets a certificate of completion. If you also want graduate credit on top of that, our partners at University of the Pacific, Bernard College, have worked with us to create up to 2 graduate credits available. You do have to pay a little bit, but it's like $62 per graduate
It's so
credit.
inexpensive
It's so
in
cheap.
terms of how
And
credits go.
you do have to do a little bit of extra work because it's like a graduate credit. But if you do all of the workbook, that counts for a lot of it. So we've tried to make it seamless that if you do the workbook and the reflection, that rolls over into the graduate work that you're expected to do. You do have to register with them separately. So, and if you need a syllabus, you can get that in our, you can email us, or if you just look in the chat, there is a link there to frequently asked questions. The link to the syllabus is there too.
Thank you. Speaking of frequently asked questions, 2 questions that just came up. Is there a cost associated with the course? Yes. The course is $179 for the 5-week course, and then your 6-month access to all of the content. And it's really important to us that we make it as easy as possible for you to get your districts to pay for this. It is an extremely valuable professional learning experience for you. And so again, if you need a syllabus from us in order to get approval, if you need a W-9, whatever you need from us, email, the contact information is in that frequently asked questions document. And one teacher asked how the hours are going to be tracked in order to get the certificate. We make it really simple. You just kind of keep track on your own. So it's just the honor system. So when you choose your the number of hours based on your on what you've completed, you just select how much time you had spent on it, and that's how it's reported. All right.
So,
Oh, let's do dates.
ooh, this is very important. Okay, so the first video, the course officially begins on September 30th. And that's when the first video will be available. Then we will have
no, that's a Monday.
It's a Monday.
That's a
so
Monday.
Then every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there will be a new short video. Nothing new on the weekends, so you can catch up if you need to. Every Wednesday, there will be a live event. And if you can't make it, we do record it and we post it the next day. Like, we're very good about that. So even if you can't make the live events, that you can still watch them, maybe double time. I don't know. And then our interactive elements close on November 1st. So that's when our coaches are going to say, okay, we're done working in the forums, because they are all teachers or retired teachers. And but you still have access to everything in the course up until March 31st of 2025.
So really the only thing that ends on November 1st is that interaction with the course. And even when that is done, the Somos curriculum collaboration group lives on. And, that is always a great place to come to with your questions about implementation. And then, you'll have until the end of March to watch it. But, what we always find is that the most viewing happens during this period, and then you have the best intentions to watch it all the way until March. But we really, really, really encourage teachers to try to stay up with those videos if you can at all. So,
and that brings me to, let's be real. How many of you guys have bought a course online and never, ever watched it? I have. Have you, Martina?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know you have. Have you done it more than once? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, best intentions. So what we suggest to help you manage that is, like, you got a teacher planner, right? You write your lesson plans down. So set aside about 20 minutes a day and plan it out. Even if that 20 minutes is, even if it's like a whole bunch of time on Saturday or Sunday, or when you're free. Some teachers use them as podcasts on their commute and listen to them, which is awesome. We definitely recommend that. So plan ahead. Plan ahead for when you're going to watch them, because if you don't, it's just a waste of money. And your time is precious. But it's good.
And you signed up for it because you knew it would help you, and we want to make sure that you get that benefit. Absolutely.
Engage in the forums, because there's so much learning that happens in the forums, and you can read other people's thinking, which, it takes some time, but it's really validating to see, like, oh, I was confused by that, or like, oh, I came away with the same idea, or I'm really struggling and that person explained it. You can watch videos multiple times. And one of the things we find is sometimes people get a lot of benefit from watching some videos 3 or 4 times. I think that's a great option. And most importantly, try on some new ideas. See how they fit.
That's always our favorite.
It's because we're here to learn, right? If you're taking this PD, you're there to learn. All right. So one question, Sarah, the forums are not in Facebook. It's in a private, closed community, which was very intentional. So there's no mindless scrolling. It's very specific and directed, and it's great. You will have access to all of the downloadable documents. You have a choice of doing it in Google or downloading stuff as a PDF. If you want to print stuff up, if you're like me and you want to make a packet of your learning, you can print the whole thing. I've tried to make it as ink friendly as possible. And that's really nice because for me, I can go back and see my notes on it. I like that. That's why I did it. So some questions that we get a lot are, what if I don't use Somos? Will this course be good for me? Or what if I just supplement with Somos? The answer is the same. this probably isn't going to be a great course for you unless you are implementing Somos as your main curriculum in the future. So this was designed for people who are using Somos as their primary curriculum, whether that's officially adopted or you just are using it.
So that is the big question, the big answer that's different than when we run just a normal acquisition boot camp. So when we've run acquisition boot camps in the past, we say, yes, no matter what you're using, sign up. This one is specific to Somos. And so if you are not implementing Somos as your primary curriculum, we will absolutely offer a generic acquisition boot camp again in the future. And we recommend you look for that course.
Another question that we get is, well, what about Nous Sommes? I teach French. What about Sumus? I teach Latin. All three of you. We love you. And this course is designed for Somos users. There will be some Spanish. Not everything will be translated. So if you are comfortable with some Spanish and you're comfortable with the idea that because French is different, the Nous Sommes is set up a little bit differently. So it's not going to be apples to apples. You are more than welcome to take it. However, we may not be able to answer your French questions.
And we do have our new training and development specialist, Donna Tatum-Johns, on board, and we are really looking forward to developing. We have some plans in the works to get some training specifically for French teachers. So we don't want you to feel like we're giving you the cold shoulder. This course really is specifically for the Spanish curriculum, and we want to take great care of you and support you as well.
Another question is, do I have to have access to the curriculum in order to do the course? Yes. Again, this course assumes that you are teaching the curriculum, so you have access to it, even if it's just units 1 through 5. Like, even if you've just bought like individual units, but you do need access to the curriculum in order to do some of the activities. And what about Vamos?
What about Vamos, Alicia?
Well, Vamos is set up in a very similar way to Somos, from the way the Google Drive is organized and how you access it to the big ideas. So we think that this course is going to be very valuable for you if you use Vamos. And some of the specifics about planning may feel a little less relevant because there's only 9 units.
And I would say the other big one is that there is not music built into Vamos. Most units do not have a song that come with the curriculum in Vamos. So that would be one of the other pieces that isn't as relevant. Obviously, if you use Vamos for your exploratory or your middle school classes and Somos for your high school, you'll be totally taken care of with this course. But if Vamos is the only program you're using, there will be some pieces that are a little bit.
A question came up for Huellas. So Huellas is our sister curriculum produced by Carrie Toth. This course does not address Huellas.
So Huellas has quite a different structure than Somos. It's a natural follow-on to our program, and so it all works together, but we're really addressing the elements of the curriculum and the structure of the Somos and Vamos curricula here. Great question.
Yeah. What if I teach with Somos Flex? Well, you are welcome to join, but Flex is a different format. And we're so glad that Flex has continued past those tough lockdown years. But we also know that Flex was very much designed for that hybrid, asynchronous, synchronous, Zoom, like all kinds of different formats. And so the course addresses, like the course, you will be supported, but many of the elements are missing in Flex.
And we always just recommend that, Somos Flex, it has a specific role to serve. It is so useful, but we always recommend that you use the Somos original curriculum as your primary curriculum. If you have Somos Flex and you've been wondering, like, is it worth it to get the original version of Somos? Our answer is yes. It is a much stronger, better curriculum for engagement with your students. And it is great to have both because it'll just give you maximum flexibility. So if you are on the fence about getting it, you can get Somos Original and then join Somos Acquisition Boot Camp, and you'll be totally well taken care of.
Absolutely. Martina, I'm gonna grab something. Can you look at the questions in the comments?
Yeah, 100%. So I'll answer that last one first. So school needs a PO and W-9. We can take care of all of that for you, Rosa. So just email us. Alicia dropped in the comments the bit.ly with the FAQs that has our contact information, but you'll just be emailing info@comprehensibleclassroom.com. You'll probably want to request a syllabus and a W-9, and then ask for instructions for how to register using a purchase order. And our director of operations, Sam, will get that information to you. Liz asked if it'll have a lot of strategies with story asking, and oh my gosh, yes. As Alicia mentioned earlier, that really is one of those pinch points for teachers. Story asking is a life-giving strategy. It is, I mean, I think that it's what
life-giving and soul-sucking.
Soul-sucking, that's so true. It just is this amazing strategy, and it doesn't feel amazing sometimes because there are so many moving parts. It's totally different than teaching out of a textbook and having a workbook. So there's a lot to figure out, and we want to make sure that you are well supported, that you get great answers so that you feel confident trying it again, taking baby steps to try it in new ways. And then ultimately, we also provide strategies for how not to story ask if you determine that it's not going to be a fit for you for a particular group or at this time. Mm-hmm. We are not going to address garbanzo in any way in this course, although that makes me think that we should put together something on the garbanzo side. We have a few trainings blocked out this year for using garbanzo, and would love to help you with that, but we do not address garbanzo in any way with this course. It's a separate product, separate company, and so we won't bring that in here. Any other questions that you have, drop in the comments. Alicia, is there anything else that you can think of, frequently asked questions that we get?
How do I register?
Yes. Let's see. Oh gosh, I didn't even check. Is the link for registering in?
It's in the frequently asked questions. You can also always go to comprehensibleclassroom.com, and I'm putting it in. Whoa, that's weird.
You have a funky link.
It's a funky link. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that will work. I'm copying it straight from my from the FAQs. So hopefully.
Alicia, what happens if there's somebody watching and they're like, oh my word, this is perfect. I want to sign up my entire department for Somos ABC. How would you respond to that person?
That's such a great question. This course is designed for motivated teachers. What we find is when districts force their teachers to go, sometimes one person logs in. So if if you are a department head and you want this training for your teachers, awesome. You and I can have a conversation about if we think that will meet your needs. Where are you guys in your journey of adopting Somos or of using Somos? Is there another way that we can get you the training that will be more efficacious, more effective? Because I don't think that I did not develop this for district trainings at all. There's other things that we need to do for district trainings, and you got to trust me on that because that's my job.
So if you are a department chair, or if you're a teacher who is excited about possibly doing this with your department, what you should do is, we've got 25 days until the course starts. Reach out to Alicia, reach out to training@comprehensibleclassroom.com, have a conversation, and the recommendation might end up being that this would be a good fit for your department, or we might have an even better recommendation that's going to be perfect for you. All right, what else? Oh,
So
well, that's just an encouragement. Somos user starting third year, kids seem to retain so well over summer. That's why we do teach for acquisition. That's, at the
mhm.
beginning of the year, there's no review. There's not the loss that you get in other things. It's there.
I see a question. Well, thank you, Ramirez, or Karina, I think is your name. Thank you for your kind words. I don't know when I am going to be back in New York. Right now, we are currently planning out our in-person hosted trainings for the next
Mhm.
year. And so I'm in the process of working with different schools and identifying locations. If you think your school might be a good fit for hosting a workshop, bonus, many of your teachers can come for free, but we do have some requirements. You can always email us at training@comprehensibleclassroom.com and we can send you some information and you can see if like our requirements are things that you can meet and we can see if it would work, because we are currently programming for all of next year. And then is this something we offer every year? We have historically offered our curriculum neutral acquisition boot camp 3 or 4 times a year. This is the first time we've offered the Somos Acquisition Boot Camp. So we will see how it goes. We hope a lot of people sign up, and that will tell us that we want to run it again and again.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the learning that happens in this course, and if there's any adjustments that we need to make. But mostly just really excited because I know how much work really you have put into this over the last year, Alicia, and we've talked through it and the content so many times, and really excited to have teachers engaging with it and reaping that benefit of your labor. So
Thank you. It's been
yeah.
really fun to create.
All right. Well, unless you have any last closing thoughts, Alicia, if you any questions that you have, please email info@comprehensibleclassroom.com. Oh, Jen, oh gosh, we would love to do a workshop in Canada. 100%. We've been there. We've been to Winnipeg. I guess most of the ones we've done in Canada have been virtual, but we would love to do that. Andrea, questions like where do I start in Somos? We have resources already ready to go that we can send to you. We'll do that after we get off this live. And those are also questions that we would love to talk through with you in the course. So the idea is I'm teaching Spanish 3, want to give Somos a try. Oh, all the questions are coming in now. I was just going to get off. Any in-person training in Texas, we have gone to Dallas every year for the last few years. I'm not certain yet that we'll be doing that this year. I will be at the Texas is it Texans for Language Acquisition? That's Alaska. TFLA. I'll be there this fall in October. But we can definitely connect with you. And as Alicia said, if you're looking to bring someone to your district, or if your district is open to hosting a workshop, we would love to talk. So all the questions you can email training@comprehensibleclassroom.com info. They'll all get to us and we'll make sure you get answers. Okay.
So, and for any trainings, when we have trainings that are open to anybody, you can always look at comprehensibleclassroom.com and click on where it says training. And anytime we have trainings open, they're there. We also announce them in the newsletter whenever we have them.
And actually, so Denia, you commented, and then for same thing for the New York. There is a training right now. It'll be in October, the end of October. That
it is almost full.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It might be full, but it's almost, it's
full.
close.
Oh, okay. So in South Burlington, it is not a traditionally open workshop, but the South Burlington School District, so South Burlington, Vermont, it's basically Burlington, Vermont, very close to the Canada border, very close to Montreal. You could reach out to us. We can give you information to get in touch with the district that's hosting that. And if they have space available, it sounds like maybe not, but we could get you that information. So that would be
as of last week, they had 3 spots.
Ooh, probably not. Everybody was really excited about that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's call it. But if you're watching this on the replay and you have questions, drop them in the comments. We'll be answering questions there. Otherwise, email training@comprehensibleclassroom.com. Check out that frequently asked questions document for all the resources, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.